No other way.
This moves us into the third part of the text, which is about how this burden changes over time. We're calling this the expanding responsibility.
Yes. And this is where the philosophy gets really interesting. The source notes that the more creation expanded, the heavier the responsibility became.
Now, on the surface, that makes logical sense. More stuff equals more weight. If I have one plant, it's easy. A whole farm, that's hard.
Of course.
But the text makes a very specific distinction here that I think is the key to this whole deep dive. It says the weight increased, not because of chaos, but because of care.
This is the most profound insight in the text, in my opinion.
It's counterintuitive.
It is. We often attribute heaviness to things going wrong. We say, oh, my life is so heavy because everything is chaotic right now.
But the Brahma Purana excerpt is arguing something different.
It is arguing that the weight comes from the success, not the failure. It comes from the emotional investment itself.
Wait, help me understand that. How does caring about something make it physically heavier?
Well, imagine the watcher looking at the expanding universe.
Mm.
If the watcher felt nothing, if the stars and planets were just data points, just cold math, there would be no weight.
It would just be a list of numbers.
Exactly. An infinite list is no heavier than a short one if you don't care about the items on it.
Okay, I see. It's the attachment.
It's the attachment. Because there is care, every new star, every new life adds a tiny thread of connection. And millions of those threads create a crushing weight.
So the more you love the thing you're preserving, the heavier it is to hold.
That's it. You are carrying your love for the creation. That is the substance of the burden. The emotional investment is the physical mass of the responsibility.
That hits hard because it applies to everything. Parents feel this. Artists feel this. The more beautiful the thing becomes, the more terrified you are of dropping it.
And that terror is the weight. The text goes on to say, sacrifice was not forced upon the preserver. It arose naturally from responsibility itself.
See, that's another pivot. We usually see sacrifice as a tragedy, like, oh, something went wrong, so now I have to give this up.
Or as a transaction. I pay this cost to get that reward.
Right. But here, it's presented as an intrinsic property of the role. You can't have one without the other.
It's like a shadow.
Explain that.
If you stand in the light of responsibility, you cast the shadow of sacrifice. It isn't a punishment. It is simply the geometry of care.
The geometry of care, I like that.
If you choose to care for a sick relative, you aren't being punished with the loss of your free time. The loss of your free time is the natural shape of that care.
You can't have the care without the loss.
You can't. And that reframes the whole concept of burden, doesn't it? It stops being a complaint. It stops being, why is this happening to me? And starts being, well, a testament. The weight proves the care exists.
The weight proves the care exists. That's beautifully put. If it felt light, it would mean you didn't care. Which leads us to the final and perhaps the quietest part of the text, chapter 4, quiet renunciation.
The text says, to sustain harmony, one must be willing to diminish, and then, to hold everything together, one must release something personal.
Diminish. That's such a small word, but it feels violent in this context. We expect powerful beings to expand, to conquer, to rule, to grow.
But this text says preservation is an act of subtraction.
Subtraction of the self. Why? Why is that necessary? Is it about making room?
I think that's exactly it, to make room for the other. If you fill the room with your own ego, your own desires, your own noise, there's no space for the thing you're trying to preserve. You have to make yourself smaller so the world can be whole.
It redefines the role entirely, then. It's not about power.
No. It defined preservation not as a position of dominance, but as a quiet renunciation. It's the silence of a parent watching their child sleep, resisting the urge to wake them up. It's the gardener tending the soil so the flower can be the star. The gardener is not the flower.
And the gardener doesn't get the applause.
No. The flower gets the applause. The gardener gets dirty knees and a sore back. That is the renunciation.
Quiet renunciation. It's not a loud martyrdom. No one is posting about it online.
And that's why it is renunciation. If you were doing it for the applause, you wouldn't be diminishing. You'd be expanding your ego. You'd be saying, look at me saving this thing.
Right.
This text is about doing the work, absorbing the weight, and letting the result be the only reward, even if the result forgets you.
Even if the result forgets you. That's the kicker, isn't it? You protect the world, and the world just goes on spinning, maybe not even knowing you're holding it up.
That is the ultimate test of the preserver. Can you bear the weight in silence?
It's a profound way to look at our own lives. We all have things we are trying to preserve. Relationships, communities, projects. And we usually want credit for it. Look how hard I'm working.
And we should ask ourselves, looking at this wisdom, what are we trying to keep? And are we willing to accept the natural sacrifice that comes with it? Are we willing to diminish so that the thing we love can expand?
We've extracted 5 core lessons from this text, and usually we'd recap these as a checklist. But today, given the tone, I think we should hear them differently.
I agree. Let's not treat them as tasks. Let's treat them as meditations. Let them sit in the air for a moment.
Okay, walk us through them.
The first lesson. Responsibility naturally leads to sacrifice. It is not an accident. It is a consequence.
It's the cost of the ticket.
It is. The second lesson. True guardianship requires self-effacement. To guard the door, you must stand outside the party. You cannot be the center of attention and the protector of the perimeter.
That's a lonely place to be.
It is. Which leads to the third lesson. Preservation is sustained through presence, not distance. You must be in the world to save it. You cannot love from a safe distance. The fourth lesson. Care carries weight even in harmony, even when things are going right. Especially then. The love itself is heavy. Don't mistake the weight for failure.
That's a big one.
And the final lesson. The deepest sacrifices are voluntary. They are not taken from you. They are given by you.
They are given by you. That changes everything, doesn't it? It changes it from a theft to a gift.
It does. It restores agency to the preserver. You are not a victim of the weight. You are the bearer of it by choice. You looked at the world, saw its fragility, and said, I will carry this.
As we wrap up, I want to bring this back to you listening right now. Maybe you feel a weight in your life. Maybe you feel tired. Maybe you feel like you're the only one holding up the ceiling.
And maybe, just maybe, that heaviness isn't a sign that you're doing it wrong. Maybe it's the weight of the watcher. Maybe it's proof of how much you care.
We often try to escape the weight. We try to hack our way out of it, optimize it away. But this text suggests that the weight is the point.
It is the point. The weight is the connection.
The source material ends with a line that we aren't going to try to answer for you. We're just going to leave it here in the quiet for you to carry with you.
Preservation demanded sacrifice, but how much could the preserver give?